Hi, this is Dan from Hello Music Theory. This is the first in a series of videos where I'm going to be going through some of the questions that could come up in an ABRSM Grade 1 Music Theory exam. In this video, we're going to be covering how to add missing time signatures to an extract of music. So to start off, for Grade 1, there are only 3 types of time signature that you need to know about. Those are 2/4, 3/4, and 4/4. For this question, that's the only 3 possible answers that it could be. Now, hopefully you know a little bit about time signatures already, but just to remind you, the top number in a time signature, this represents how many beats there are in a bar. So how many beats. For Grade 1, it could either be 2, 3, or 4. And the bottom number in a time signature, the bottom number, this number represents what kind of beat we're talking about. So what, let me try that again. What kind of beat? Kind of beat. What do I mean by what kind of beat? So is it a crotchet beat, which is represented by the number 4? Is it a minim beat, which is a number 2? Is it the quaver beat? Is it number 8? But for Grade 1, you only need to worry about 4s. And it's a 4 because 4 crotchets go into one semi-brief. Now, the wording of this question in the ABRSM syllabus is going to be something like add the time signature to each of these extracts that's missing, or something like that. And the area that you need to be worrying about is this bit over here, after the clef, after the key signature, but before the first note. So this is where we're going to be placing the time signature. So we need to work out how many crotchet beats there are in one bar. So we're going to go through and we're going to count up all the notes together to see what the answer is. So here we've got a crotchet beat. So we're going to put a little number 1 just below the stave, because a crotchet is obviously worth 1 crotchet. Then we've got a quaver, which is worth half a beat. So we're going to put in 2 half a beats there because there's 2 quavers. If we add those together, that equals altogether 1 crotchet beat, because half plus a half equals 1 whole. Here we've got another crotchet, which is obviously worth 1 beat, and then we've got 2 more quavers, which are worth half a beat each. So half plus a half equals 1 whole. Then we're going to count up the total number. So we've got 1, we've got another 1, 2, we've got a third one, and we've got a fourth one. So that means that this time signature is probably going to be 4 because there are 4 beats, 4 because they're crotchet beats. So we would write in 4/4 just over here. But it's important when you're doing an exam or a mock exam that you check that you've got the right answer. And that's why we've got a second bar. Most of the examples in the exam are going to have 2 bars so that you can check that you've got the right answer. So before we decide fully that we're happy with this answer, we're going to work out how many beats there are in this bar as well. So to start off, we've got a dotted crotchet. So the crotchet on its own is worth 1 beat. But when you have a dot next to the note, it adds on another half of the note's value. Does that make sense? So it's going to be 1.5 because half of 1 is a half. So it's going to be 1.5 beats, that dotted crotchet. Then we've got a quaver, which is worth a half a beat. 1.5 plus a half equals 2. So altogether, these 2 notes here are worth 2 crotchet beats. Okay. Then we've got 4 quavers next to each other. So this is obviously worth half a beat, another half, another 2 halves there. If we add up all of those together, half plus a half equals 1, half plus another half equals 1, 1 plus 1 equals 2. So that means that these 4 quavers add up to 2 crotchet beats. So then we're going to add the whole bar together. 2 plus 2 equals 4. Again, it's 4. That's how many beats is 4, and they're crotchet beats that we're counting because 4 crotchets go into a semi-brief. So we can safely say that 4/4 is correct. We're happy with that. Let's have another look at an example, and hopefully you'll start to get a bit more of an idea of how this works. So again, we're going to be aiming for this area after the clef, after the key signature, before the first note, and we're going to count how many crotchet beats are in this bar. So we've got half a beat with this quaver. We've got another half a beat with this quaver. Those together added up equals 1 crotchet beat so far. Then we've got another quaver, which is half a beat, but here we've got 2 semiquavers. Now a semiquaver is worth a quarter of a crotchet beat because 4 semiquavers go into 1 crotchet. So we've got 2 quarters there. A half plus 2 quarters equals 1 whole beat. So how many beats have we got in total? We've got 1 beat here, 1 crotchet beat. We've got a second beat there. It's 2. So I'm going to provisionally say that it's 2 for this extract, but we need to check this second bar to see that we're on the right track. So we've got a dotted quaver. So the quaver on its own is worth half a beat, but the dot adds on half of the note's value, as we know. So it's going to be half plus a quarter, that equals 3 quarters of a beat there. And over here we've got another semiquaver, which is worth a quarter of a beat. And 3 quarters plus 1 quarter equals 1 whole beat. And then nice and easy at the end, we've got another crotchet. 1 plus 1 equals 2. I can safely say that this extract is in 2/4. And we get a tick. Now, go ahead when you're doing the exam or the past paper or the practice exam, show your working out below. Just make sure you do it in pencil. So feel free to draw these halves and these fractions and count up below the stave, but do it in pencil, and then at the end rub it out so that the examiner doesn't get confused about what your answer is. Just make it this the only bit of text that you have at the end. Another thing to say is that for each answer, this usually worth around 2 points in the paper. So there'll usually be 3, and then there'll be a question B, which is something else, which we'll cover in a different video, but worth about 2 points. Let's do one last example before we finish. So once again, we're aiming for this area over here, after the clef, after the key signature, before the first note, and we're going to count up how many beats there are in total. So we've got half a beat here with this quaver, another half a beat with this quaver, that equals 1. Then we've got a nice and easy crotchet beat, which is obviously worth 1, and then 2 more quavers. Add those together, equals 1 beat. 1, 2, 3. I think this one is in 3/4, but we're going to check by doing a second bar. Let's go through it quickly and then we can finish. We've got half a beat plus half a beat equals 1 beat. We've got a quaver rest, which is the same as a quaver. It's worth half a beat, and then that's another half a beat there with this quaver. Those together added up equals 1. And lastly, to finish, we've got a crotchet beat, which is obviously worth 1. 1, 2, 3 inside this bar, 1, 2, 3 in this side. In this bar, this one is in 3/4. So I hope that helps to make sense of these time signatures and how to approach them and how to get the right answer. And I'll be back again next week with another video covering some more questions that could come up in an ABRSM Grade 1 Music Theory exam. Hit subscribe and then you'll be notified when I release the next video. Thanks so much.